trickier. It's a little trickier with the setup these days, with the way that we have to do things as far as montages and music used in montages and what we can and can't have for the YouTube crowd, because obviously for the radio crowd, right from the get-go, you can hear all that stuff. But YouTube will block us. They'll yank our videos. They'll prohibit us from benefiting in any way. If we use songs. So that's why we had to kind of do it a different way. You'll always have a link to those things when we get started so that you have an opportunity to listen in. That was fun. And it's interesting because listening to the block again, Tom, you get chills all over again.
You get nervous all over again with the fumble.
Yeah.
Because, Greg and Joe in the booth were thinking it was over. Oh, it's a strange thing about, oh my God, he fumbled.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I said those exact words in the press box. Oh my God, he fumbled. I can't believe it. I had to say it calm. I couldn't yell it. I had to. Oh my God, he fumbled. Yeah, that was it. That was sort of, and I'm quick draw McGraw on a fumble. Nobody sees a fumble quicker than this guy. Now that one was out in the open, but I'll see him, and it could be down in the dark, and I see that ball's out. I know it's out. I see it. For whatever, we're all attuned to things in this world. I'm attuned to fumbles.
You see the body language and the way a helmet jerks in fear, right?
Yeah.
When a player's like, oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something about that.
There's something where you're like, oh, that's the sign. There it is. The ball's out. This is not good. Yeah, because it is instantaneous. Now, it's so much fun to go back through those nerve-wracking moments and listen, knowing the outcome. Once again, Jeff Colhane did a great job on that call. It is rare that there's a simultaneous good call. Tess did a good job. Now, Tess loves those moments. He's that outlandish in the middle of the first quarter of a tie game. But if you need a guy late for something big, he's good at it. Colhane crushed it. That was great.
Well, the thing about montages, too, is they're only as good as the people that call the game. Because if you've got a jerk who doesn't care,
Musburger was half asleep in the national championship game.
The KB catch, we had to go to Tirico for it.
Yeah, who was great.
But if you recall, there's another LSU montage that we put together a few years back with the Super Regional. And the guy who called it, the Reese Albert at bat, that was 15 pitches, 20, whatever it was. And then he hits the home run and goes, and he's done it. He's tied the game. Sir, that's a big moment.
I'm going to need you to
rise
to the occasion.
Joe will always. He'll create an occasion to rise to.
So we start the show with slightly bad news, but it's news that I can tell you we all knew. So a lot of people found it out today, those on the beat and who had been paying attention at practice and knew after the game. Bless Harris was always going to be out. We were just not allowed to talk about it. We were not. Now, I suppose there was some ambiguity as to whether or not he'd be gone for the remainder of the season, but we knew the nature of the injury and assumed that he was not going to be available for the rest of the season. So today it just becomes official. And I do think it's worth talking about because the greatest compliment I can give Florida State right now, after that win, and after some of this has settled a little bit, where you're able to take a step back and rewatched the game in full, but I've also rewatched certain aspects of the game that I wanted to get a better look at. The greatest compliment I can give them is that I want to see more. I want to see more of this offense. I'm excited about the offense. I'm excited about where this is going to go. Now, we said things to that extent in our short pod on the drive back, and we talked about what seemed sustainable moving forward. A couple of things from that game seemed very sustainable. Primarily, if you're healthy up front on defense, they're going to be a bear against the run. They're going to cause a lot of problems for people in the run game. And that, in turn, is going to make teams one-dimensional and thus makes them a little bit easier to defend. There are other aspects that I want to see improve, but we like the starters for the front four on defense. In the interior, we said it was going to be the strength of the team. There were moments in this game where Cooper and Lovett dominated the line of scrimmage, just absolutely grown-ass men behavior in the interior, just throwing guys around and making it impossible to run between the tackles. I think that's sustainable. Thankfully, Fabian Lovett's healthy. A lot of people asked that over the last 48 hours. He's fine.
Yeah, and Mike has said it might be a short-term, thing for him because Mike, what couched it today saying that when he gets back on the field, he'll get ready to roll quickly, but that, they're managing it at the moment. So Mike didn't go as far as that, maybe the social media post did. It said he's fine. Mike is still being a little bit cautious, but he said once he begins to practice, it'll be like the other guys, like Maurice, like Cam McDonald and others. It'll be full steam ahead.
Yeah, and there's no reason for him to practice this week. So there's no reason whatsoever. We don't have a game. So you just go chill your ass out and get feeling better and go through the physical therapy and the stuff that you got to go through to make sure you get right. Football seasons are difficult, and they wear on folks, and so it's not surprising. The other thing that I think is sustainable is a lot of the concepts, a lot of the things they're doing on offense. And again, I want to sing the praises of one Jordan Travis, because his ability to handle a lot more of this playbook and to do so with incredible amounts of poise, to attack the middle of the field, to throw the ball accurately, a couple times into tight windows in ways he didn't do much of last year. Understanding when to get out of there and create moments and create time and create space, but also always keeping his eyes downfield. Just did a great job of being in the moment and understanding what he was seeing and understanding, of course, what you can do off of that. So he always had an answer. There were only a couple times where I think he got taken aback. And again, here's the situation. Other teams on scholarship too. There are going to be times that happens. That's okay. But Jordan was absolutely poised and in control. So I think this is all sustainable stuff. That's the biggest thing. I was blown away by his progress. I've said it 3, 4, 5 times since the game ended. I said it during the game while we were in the press box. Here we go. And I was really happy for Jordan because there's never been a question of work ethic. There's never been a question of want to. There's never been a question of whether or not he was putting in the requisite time. So that's you root for guys like that. You do. Selfishly, you want it because you want to win games and you need to have a quarterback that can do that. But just removing yourself from it for a moment, you just root for guys that bust their ass and care. That's as simple as that. We all do that in our own workplace. So, I mean, that was always a given. Good to see it rewarded.
Yeah, not to sound cliche, but there were some throws he made that were dropped that you just go, wow, you have that throw in your arsenal? That's okay. That's going to play. Then there are some decisions he made to throw the ball away or into a Johnny Wilson's the only guy who can go get it type thing, or a type choice where you say, oh, all right, so if nothing's there, you're not going to panic and then hold and run around and then take a terrible sack. Things like that. There were 4 throwaways that I counted so far. I've watched the first half in detail. 4 throwaways were and deep balls that nobody's going to catch. So they're essentially a throwaway where you say, okay, he recognizes that nothing is there. Flush it and go. That is poise as well. It's not just about keeping your eyes down the field when you break the pocket on 3rd down or 1st and 15, you make a throw instead of running for 10 yards, you throw for 20. Those are all great things. But how about also after the snap, oh, no, we're screwed here. This is not going to work. Let's get rid of the ball. Well, that's poise.
Watch NFL quarterbacks give up the good ones on a play they recognized is doomed from the start. Again, you're talking about when you're playing at high levels against really good coaches and really good teams, and we will play several games against good teams and good coaches. Sometimes you lose. Sometimes you lose the play. It happens. Well, they guessed right. Okay, this one's doomed. Don't make a mess of it. Take whatever's there and get the hell out of Dodge and live to fight the next play. So, it's fun to watch a guy mature. It's fun to watch a quarterback get it, to have the light bulb go off, to know I can count on that. Listen, they're not going to have too many situations where the front is much better than LSU's, maybe against Clemson. But there aren't going to be too many moments where you go, oh, this front is going to be a bigger problem than LSU. No, not too many. Louisville's front won't be that way. And I got to tell you, you can go through the lineups here. There aren't too many fronts where I'm going to say this is a group that is probably going to win at the line of scrimmage.
Well, and how many more teams are going to throw multiple looks at us the way that LSU did? I mean, it wasn't just about there's 4 down linemen and come get you some. It was all multiple. Sometimes there were 2 guys that were down. Sometimes they showed 6 or 7 at the line of scrimmage. Sometimes there was a late safety blitz.
Correct.
All of the kitchen sink that they threw at him.
Everything.
And that's great film moving forward because you've seen a lot of tricks now. And it's not just about how strong are you versus Clemson's defensive front. It's, a team that's less talented is going to throw some weird stuff at you. it's nice to know that we can react to that and we can make plays off of that.
Circling back to the offensive line where Jazz started at right tackle in place of Bless Harris, which again we knew would happen. I was interested to see what kind of maneuvering they were capable of. We didn't know the status at the time of Darius Washington. Darius Washington was seen dressed, ready to go. They kept him out. I think we're not done here. We're not done shuffling the offensive line. Darius Washington can play tackle. They like Jazz more as a guard. I do too. It will be interesting to see what they decide as they move forward. I thought it was the choice of words from Coach Norvell as he complimented Jazz, but also said, I thought he did a solid job. Solid. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Solid's not great. Solid's not, phenomenal. Solid's not, right. Solid is solid. I agree with him. I think he did a solid job given the circumstances. I don't know that he'll ever do more than a solid job. That's not a knock. It's fine. He's a transfer player. He's there to provide depth. You're having to start him. You didn't plan on it.
Better than we've been dealing with in past years.
Most anybody else that we've had to insert into the offensive line due to injury was not going to do a solid job. They were going to be somebody that you had to scheme around. They were going to be a body. They were going to be somebody that had to start because somebody has to. But it wasn't ever going to be that they were a plus player. Not in the last 3 years, it wasn't. As soon as somebody came in, you went, that's a hole that will get exposed as soon as that defensive coordinator recognizes he can't play. And so, because they're not at our practices. So you always are counting it down when you see it. How long till he figures out that kid can't play? And it's funny because sometimes it takes longer than you expect. You're like, he still doesn't know. The secret's not out yet. But sometimes it's 2 plays. You're like, oh, he knows. He knows he can't play. Son of a, At least now you put a guy out there like, well, maybe he's pretty solid. Maybe he's going to hold his own, buddy. Maybe he's going to win. That is where the depth changes everything about what Florida State can be. Those 2 factors, Jordan Travis maturation, poise and accuracy, especially in the middle of the field, all of that changes who you can be. Married with a competent offensive line changes who you can be. And so I woke up today, quite literally, not for the purposes of the show. That's not, I did quite literally wake up today while fixing the coffee, I'll have you know, Tom, very early in the morning. And I thought, oh man, kind of wish we were playing this weekend. I'm excited to watch this offense. Yeah. Now, the rational side of me said, no, it's good we're not playing. Everybody needs a break. You, me, the players, everybody needs a little break. Let's get healthy. Let's get our minds right. Let's get ready to tackle the next. On to the next, as they say. But this is nice to have a week off, lick your wounds a little bit, figure some things out, and move forward. But just I haven't said that in a while. I haven't said that I was eager to see Florida State play against a real team in a while. And what I mean by that is I love my squad. We all love our school. We love our squad. But when they're bad, or you don't know what you're going to get any given week, and what you're going to get at best is slightly below average, you kind of go into every Saturday holding your breath. Kind of go into every Saturday just hoping against hope. Maybe they figured something out. Maybe they've seen something that they can expose that will overcome this weakness or that weakness. That's a different way to enter into a game weekend. That is not anticipatory in a way that you like. That is not something that, buoys you as you wake up in the morning and says, all right, it's game day. I feel like right now there's a bunch of Florida State fans that are saying when Saturday rolls around, not this Saturday because we're not playing, but when Saturday or Friday rolls around for the next game, we're going to go, all right, it's game day. And you're going to mean it because you're going to want to see what these kids can do. You're going to want to watch this coaching staff continue to grow. You're going to want to watch these players continue to grow, to add to the arsenal, to get better in areas of weakness and stronger in areas of strength, to, I think, further their expertise, if you will. That's exciting. We haven't had it around here in a long time, man. There wasn't a single game in 2013 once we recognized right after that Pitt game. what we had.
Yeah, about 2/3 downs into that Pitt game.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Sitting there next to my dad on the 50 at that Pitt game going, my goodness gracious, would you look at here. There wasn't another time in his 2 years here that I didn't want to see us play. I couldn't wait. Let's get it on. Sometimes I found downright sad for the other team that we were about to play. Now, that's the place you want to get to, where you start feeling bad for other teams, where you're like, well, these poor bastards. This is going to be a tough one. Buckle up, boys. The ass kicking's coming. That would be nice, but it's baby steps. Let's just take those steps. Here we go.
Yeah, there's one question I can ask that gets me giddy, and that's how many games are we going to run the ball that average or below average for the rest of the season? Next 10. How many times are we going to look that average on the ground?
Running the ball?
Yeah.
Okay, Clemson, and I think probably to some extent NC State certainly on the road. I don't think we'll run the ball very well. Well, right, maybe, but I don't think we'll run the ball exceptionally well against them.
You got to struggle to find 3. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Maybe Florida. Maybe
Florida at the end of the year. They got some dudes.
Could be, but we develop. I mean, we get better as time goes on, especially on that offensive line with Atkins. And we usually generate explosive runs, too. There weren't any this time, although I would argue that there's an end around to Micah Pittman that might have been a house call during the course of this game.
Couple of misses.
Yeah, a couple of misreads.
Couple of things like that. Hey, look, it's
but how many times out of the next 10 are you going to run a lot better than we ran on Sunday? 7?
7 out of 10.
Come on now.
Yeah.
If you can run like that, like we expected to,
let me
and then you got Jordan to add to it, the passing Jordan. I mean, that's a nightmare of an offense to stop.
Well, remember this, and actually, I want to bring this up here in a second. Let's take a quick break because we're 24 in now. It's Jeff Cameron, Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Physical stress on our bodies can take its toll as the years go by. Whether you're looking to get back into an old sport or just want to spend more time outdoors to explore all life has to offer in our beautiful city, the dedicated team at TOC is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all your orthopedic needs. And now, scheduling an appointment has never been easier. Just visit teamtoc.com and click schedule online. That's teamtoc.com.
Over 50 years ago, when Paul Nicholson founded Paul's Termite and Pest Control, he had one goal in mind: provide the best service possible to his neighbors so they felt like family. Your problem was his problem, so today it's our problem. Paul's service area is our home. It's where our kids go to school, where we shop, and where we get involved with community organizations. So if some out-of-town company knocks on your door and begins pressuring you to sign an agreement for termite or pest control, you can bet on a few things. Number 1, you'll never see that person again. Number 2, your technician is likely to change often. And number 3, your money will not stay in North Florida. These companies are sending your money to home offices in Atlanta, Orlando, Salt Lake City, or even Great Britain. Paul's Termite and Pest Control knows local means something to you. The health of your Tallahassee home, family, and pets is our number 1 priority. For the elimination of termites and pests and a greener lawn too, call your local company with local solutions. Paul's Termite and Pest Control.
Football at El Jalisco, football at El Jalisco, what a combination. It's a great big celebration. It's football at El Jalisco. I can dig it. Who's playing? Oh, man, everybody, the ACC, the SEC, all the C's, and even the pros, the Bucks, the Steelers, the Giants, the Cowboys. Wow, far out. You bet, man. When the game is on, it's on at El Jalisco with incredible specials on everything from frosty cervezas to salty margaritas. Does Margarita know? Dios mío, not again. The best place to watch the game is El Jalisco. College, pros, Monday night, Thursday night, you name it, El Jalisco is football headquarters. And with 5 Tallahassee area locations, there's probably an El Jalisco right around the corner right now.
Every day, Sellers makes life a little better for homeowners, helping them find the best design ideas for their homes with the best quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring. Even mosaics, ceramic, and vinyl solutions are at their fingertips in their remarkable showroom. Maybe it's time for you to get the Sellers Advantage for your home or office. Find them on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com. For style, quality, and design, get the Sellers Advantage. In Tallahassee, call 656-8453.
Imagine for a moment that you are completely weightless with zero gravity. All of your worries and stress melt away. Your mind stops racing and you fall into a profound state of pure relaxation. This is available to you right now at Tallulah Delta 8 Plus Floating in Railroad Square for just $50. These state-of-the-art floating pods are unlike anything else you've ever experienced, and while you're there, you can shop for some of the latest and greatest CBD and Delta 8 products on the market. Natural pain management, stress relief, and better sleep are all at your fingertips at Tallulah. Tell them Jeff Cameron sent you, and thank me later. We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Bills is a hell of a way to get things started, and I'm excited about that game. I've just got to create room, Tom. I got to create room. It's like dessert at a place where you know they have a really, really good selection. You're full from the main course, but you don't come here that often. You'll have a select amount of time that you're with these fine people that you're dining with, and you're at this particular place. So you got to say yes when they come around and ask if you want dessert. But you have no more room. You have no more room. What am I going to do?
Please, no, please. Oh, my
Oh,
God,
God,
no,
this is-
I can't.
What am I going to do?
My goodness.
That's why it's the heavy season. And you got to make room for the NFL now that, you know, we're underway with college and it's all around you all the time. And there seems to be a show or a thing we got to do or something we're looking forward to watching or a game to preview or something of that ilk all the time. But yet now we get to welcome in the NFL. Z-Chan, thank you so much. No, I've never been scolded for being late to a press conference. And if I were late to a press conference and got scolded by the coach, I doubt my retort would be, maybe if you'd win, I'd be on time. That is a frosty relationship early in the process that Brian Kelly has with the assembled media there. I got to believe that is, I don't quite know what to think of that. On the one hand, it's funny to laugh at Brian Kelly. We all do all the time, and it's great to see him in that predicament and have to deal with that. But on the other hand, no real reporter would do that. There's no,
I agree.
I mean, there's no cause for that.
He would have to be there for years and be cruel for years for that to make sense.
You'd have to be at a place where the guy had been unprofessional to you for a long period of time.
It's less than a year, and really, he's allowed people into more practices than he let Notre Dame media into. So I think he was trying to extend the olive branch. Not that I will ever defend Brian Kelly to the hilt. It's just that's a very strange time. Quick trigger.
No, I think there's something else we don't know about.
That's quick to punch person.
Well, it's absurd. And again, it's funny for us to laugh at. I'm glad I'm not involved with whatever is going on there, that situation. There has to be a backstory that we don't know, it seems to me. Because you wouldn't air it there, too. If you were really angry about whatever you were perceived in terms of a scolding, you'd pull him aside after the press conference and be like, let's have a conversation like men. I mean, I will tell you, and you've seen it, coaches have had those kinds of stern back and forth with reporters.
Sure.
Over the years, I've been on the other end and I've fired back, and everybody's had that before, but it's not in front of the camera or on the mic.
Right. Except if it was Brent Callistad. Poor old Brent and Jimbo.
He was the best. Callistad still is hilarious.
Yes, he is.
But even Callistad,
somebody breaks into your house, Brent. What are you going to do?
Shoot him.
Well, in Florida, you could shoot him.
But you know what? That wasn't even that wasn't even adversarial.
He picked on him because he was tired of him.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think there was, you know what I mean? I don't think this guy was like, he's like, maybe if you'd win, well, I mean, Kelly's done a lot of winning. It's one game. That's a weird.
That's what I mean.
Did he follow him?
Right.
So yeah, it's just a weird. That's just a strange deal. All right, so we were just talking about, being anticipatory and getting excited, things that we're excited about, things that we're looking forward to as the season rolls on, and things that we expect to see. And I was thinking a lot about again, when you rewatch the game, and I know you have. If you were to sit down, you know how before you have a very big decision to make and there doesn't seem to be a right answer. You have to do something. You have to make a decision on something that's very important in your life. Maybe it's you and your wife have to make a decision. Something could be anything. And I remember as a little kid, my granddad would say, sit down, put pen to paper and write out the pros and cons. Write them out. There's something to it. It's almost like paying cash for something. You have to actually part with something, right? Write it out. And you draw a line down the paper and you would write down all of the pros. And then you would write down all of the cons or vice versa, however you wanted to do it first. Well, when you go back and watch our game, if you take a pro-con list of that game, you're going to write a lot in both columns. You're going to write a ton in both columns. Now, what you choose to focus on kind of decides whether or not you're an optimistic guy or not. What you choose to hyper-focus on and concentrate your conversation around helps you decide if you're a glass is half full, half empty guy, right? Now, in the past, if you did that, the columns weren't long. They were long on one side, and they were very small on the pro side. So it's great to be able to write out all these pros now to go along with the cons. And I keep reiterating this because the cons you can fix in a lot of these things. Now, they don't have perfect personnel. This isn't a Georgia or Alabama situation where you're like, well, the remedy is to take that 5-star player who's not ready for prime time and sit him for this 5-star player to see if he's ready for prime time. And if not, you could just move this 5-star player over to his spot because I think he could play it. He did in high school. Let's see if he can remedy that problem. We're not in that situation. So there's some personnel things that you're not going to get past. But there are a lot of answers to the cons. A lot of things that I think can be resolved. A lot of things where I say, okay, this wasn't great on Sunday night. I don't like this. I wish this hadn't happened. This causes me to have some concern moving forward about this, or this. But I feel like there are a lot of answers and there are a lot of things that you can remedy and a lot of things that you can disguise and a lot of things that are going to hold up in the pros. They're all going to hold up over here on this left side. And you can do a lot of good over here on this right side to mitigate that list, to shorten that list. That's exciting to me. I also haven't been able to do that the last 3 years.
For me, I'd say if you looked at the columns, the pros list is much longer than the cons list. It's just there are some cons that you put in bold because you're saying that's kind of critical. That can't happen. But there are things in the pros upon rewatch that I said to myself, oh, I didn't realize this. For example, the game plan that Adam Fuller rolled out defensively. His ballsy, man. I mean, they're leaving dudes on islands throughout the first half. So their scouts said, here we go.
Well, their
Can you cover them? Now, we're going to disguise some blitzes and pressures that we bring, but there are more islands than there are not in coverage against those receivers, which I find very interesting.
Because he bet on the pass rush. He bet on the front four winning.
To a degree, but
he also bet against Jaden Daniels throwing the ball decently. I mean, he bet on him just missing some throws, which he did.
He did, but it's still, we talked about, man, you've got to commit 2 sets of eyes to this guy. You got to make sure you're double teaming over here on the other end.
But he also had a 2-high safety look the whole game.
Not often.
Oh, no,
there's
that's
one
not
high.
true.
There's a lot of 1-high in this game.
Both those safeties are in a help position a ton.
There's a lot of extra pressure. I was surprised. There's a lot of 5-man stuff that you're seeing, and I'm like, wow.
Well, I'll tell you what I do want to see, though, and I think this is where we get in trouble. We need the all-22.
Correct.
They would walk up a look and drop them. They did a lot of stuff where the safeties were in position to help. And that was smart. I would do that. I would do it. I mean, over and over again. Now, in obvious situations where you could bring pressure, we had a corner blitz that walked down more than once. I know you saw that.
First play of the game. That was,
I don't know.
Omari wouldn't have gotten home if there was another 10 seconds. But
I agree.
Yeah.
That rarely works for us, by the way.
Correct. Now, the one pressure that did get home was Jamie, but you got to finish the play. That's the one that Briggs cleaned up. Briggs and Deloach. Deloach was a man. I mean, in the first half, too, there's a play. So I saw it make the rounds on social media yesterday. It's a tackle for loss on first down. It's a perimeter tackle, which it's Deloach blows it up, and then Bethune cleans it up. But the best part of that play, and this is something that goes right in the pros list, I mean, it's huge, is they do shifting pre-snap, and you have two linebackers communicating, Deloach and Bethune. They're both on the same page. They're communicating at the same time, saying, do you see this? Yes, I see this. All right, we're changing responsibilities. When have you seen two linebackers here at Florida State
It's been a while.
before the snap with motion say, what are you going to do? Here's what I'm going to do. Love it. Let's go. Let's roll with it. And then they blow up the play. One doesn't get credit for the tackle, but he actually makes the play, Deloach, and then Bethune cleans it up, gets the glory, but they're both so happy with each other because of that type of communication. Those are the things that I say, that's a pro. That's going to make it week to week. You can clean up some of the other stuff. Like Bethune got out of a gap on a 3rd and short. Like there are little things that you can clean up, but that kind of communication, that's brand new. And that's a beautiful thing to see.
Not brand new, though, for you and me to see in practice. They did it every day, and we were eager to see it in a game. One of our talking points, even in the write-up, by the way, about camp that we did, where we talked about the things that we learned, things we still didn't know, all that, was how communicative several of the defenders are, including Tatum Bethune. But Jamie Robinson is very communicative. They've got guys who have taken ownership of the defense. Now, I think that defense will have question marks throughout the course of the year. We're not going to be able to answer everything this year in terms of personnel. We're still in need of infusions of talent there. But they have a chance, certainly, to be much better. If you think about what they were the first 4 games last year and what they are right now, they're already a lot better. That's true. And, it's interesting. We got an email from a listener. I'll get to it and read it because I actually think it's important to point out, appreciate that this person took the time to do so and asked a question regarding Florida State's growth. And until I find the email, I'm not going to go down that road, but he's just talking about the natural progression of things. And a lot of fans have been wondering, what that looks like. And they've quoted Bobby Bowden from back in the day, losing big, then losing small, winning small, then win big. And if that's your natural progression, then Florida State is right on pace here to continue to do that.
Could have won big in this one.
Could have won big in this one is right. And I think there are going to be some games where they do win big. And to say that out loud, holy moly. I mean, that in and of itself is different. You and I would not have predicted in a singular game that Florida State would win big anytime soon. But there it is.
And that's why, for me, the pros list is longer, because if you look at – I think there are a lot of times in our last few seasons where we're playing a close game, and either we win it or we lose it, but the circumstances by which that game is close more resembles what LSU did this weekend, where you get an opportunity and you jump on it. The North Carolina game that we won at home is one of those examples. The Josh Kando pick 6 game and then the drop passes at the end. We got out to a huge lead and stunned them and then held on for dear life. Who actually controlled more things in the flow of the football game? I could argue that North Carolina did, but I didn't care, and we all didn't care in that moment. We just needed to win badly. This is the opposite of that. This is we controlled the flow of the game, and
that's why we were all sitting around with we were about to be on the verge of a lot of righteous indignation.
Yes.
What the hell are you doing? How did you fail our kids here? We've dominated this game. We would have been furious.
But that substantive win just hasn't been around, especially against that kind of competition. So that's why, for me, the pros list is just, all right, guys, now just clean up a few stupid things and look at what you can do.
John was the one who sent the email. He's the fine man that brought us the Panamanian coffee before the Duquesne game.
Oh, that was very nice of him.
Very, very nice. He writes, Jeff and Tom, what a win in New Orleans. Much of the media talk is about how poorly LSU performed, not too much regarding how well FSU played and really dominated the game. Well, John, maybe that's nationally. But I think that's partly because Florida State's been down for so long. The expectation was that LSU in New Orleans favored more recently dominant would win the game. So maybe we flip the narrative, and that's why the conversation centered around what they didn't do. But around these parts, we've talked a lot about how much Florida State dominated the game. He goes on to say, like you mentioned post-game, I questioned two Mike Norvell coaching decisions regarding not taking the field goal in the second quarter, then pitching it there near the goal line, fumbling. Either way, the best team won. One thing I don't hear much about is the FSU defense shutting down Keyshawn Booty. I'm not sure exactly how they did it, who it was that was blanketing him, but I suspect Jamie Robinson and Keem Dent had something to do with it. Could you expound on that and perhaps throw the responsible players their due praise? Well, actually, Renardo Green played a big part in shutting down LSU's receivers. I thought that he was the more effective of the corners. Let's put it that way. And then I would also say the front four gets a lot of credit for the receivers for LSU struggling, because Jaden Daniels was harassed a lot. And his go-to in that situation is to always run. And this is where Jordan showed real growth above and beyond his counterpart. Daniels looked to flee the second anything went south. In fact, he may have been instructed to. He may have been told, you're a one-read guy, take off when it's not there. Whereas Jordan was given far more responsibility going into this season. He was told, we're getting you help. We're going to bring in some receivers. We're going to bring in some offensive linemen. Trust us, it's better. Hang in there and throw the football. And oh, by the way, if you got to buy time, it ought not be just to run. Keep your eyes downfield and make plays, Jordan. That's the next step in your progression. Our question going into the game was, could he? Would he? Because when you've built a habit of taking off and you have elite ability to run, as both Jordan Travis and Jaden Daniels do, it's easy to fall back on a skill set that you've been rewarded for time and again. Most of us gravitate to what we're good at, very rarely challenging ourselves to do things that we either stink at or have had very little success doing. So that's why I continue to praise Jordan Travis. He's got elite running ability. And yet he said, I'm committing myself to becoming a quarterback, a real quarterback. And the two were starkly contrasted on a Sunday night, and it's one of the many reasons Florida State won the game. It's the chief reason Florida State won the game. Jordan Travis made plays with his arm.
And part of the reason I'd say that Booty got stopped, there's a combination of factors. One, we played up and we played physical on the receivers, which I don't think they expected. I know I didn't certainly expect it consistently as we did that. The front four, yes, that's part of it because it shortens the time for these routes to develop. But these things weren't open early, which is what I was proud of. You know, what you're banking on is that you can stay with them for a tick or two, then the pressure kicks in, and before they break open, that's when the eye level drops and you're going to win. But also morale. I think morale had a big part to do with this. I don't know what the reason is. Maybe Nussmeier was the better quarterback in camp, but they knew they couldn't block it up, and so therefore Daniels was named the quarterback. But whatever the reason, all it took was a of air, and it seemed like Keyshawn and others in that receiving core were done. They were just over.
Well, I think you're hitting on a key point. We continue need to stress, and I'm going to be happy we get to move forward with this, but it's all right to linger in a win on a bye week. This, again, to me, reeks of the dysfunction that we felt in Norvell's first year on the heels of two coaches leaving in 3 years. Well, one being fired and the other one choosing to leave, basically being fired as well. But when you are a guy that is now the third coach, a third voice, more importantly for these players, third voice with a different vision laid out before them and a different plan and expectation and discipline laid out before them, when you're the third guy to do that in 4 years, some guys are going to say to hell with this. They're going to look you in the eye in that interview room and they're going to say, I'm with you, coach. And all they're thinking about is either transferring, because this is a blank show, and this is not what I was promised when I committed to Florida State by two coaches ago in our case, or by Edo in their case, right? And or, look, man, you brought in, and you just nailed it, you brought in a quarterback that can't play. I'm trying to get to the league.
Can't play for me, as in he can't benefit
if
me.
If you're a receiver and your quarterback's best attribute is running with the football, you've got a problem.
Yep.
And they are NFL talents at wide receiver for LSU. There are 3 guys from that team that are going to play in the league at wide receiver. If every day you're at practice and Kelly is the newest voice and he's trying to see what's going to work for his team, and the first thing he sees is that, man, I'm not sure about this offensive line. So maybe I need to start the guy that can just run around and buy some time and make some plays with his feet until we can get a little bit more sure of what we can do and what we are and what we can block. Well, if you're Booty, and I'm not making excuses for him because I'd like you to be a team guy, but if you're any of those receivers and your boy Steady misses you in practice and Nussmeier hits you in practice because he's a better thrower, but you recognize that it's an untenable situation because Nussmeier is going to get his ass kicked because they can't block, you're already in a sour place. Now they make the announcement that the guy that's going to steady miss you with a throw is your starter, and the game starts that way. You're thinking, well, this is where we're going to start. This is going to be my season. This nonsense. Frustration comes quick.
It's a working theory, but then also you get hit in the back of the end zone. You don't finish the play. It's a great recovery play by Akeem and Trail to get the ball out because the world thinks that that's a catch. At least on the television screen, it looks like it's absolutely a touchdown catch. And I think it's their second play for scrimmage.
It's a great play.
That's going to be open. That's what I'm saying as a receiver. Look, I'm going to be open. This is going to work. So hit me next time. Maybe I don't have to break back on the ball. Maybe you throw it over my shoulder a little bit. But they didn't come back to him. They didn't come back to that concept either, which is just strange. And if this kid is just this close because of all that has been going on behind the scenes,
right? Doesn't take
and
much.
Maybe he's a malcontent on his own. I don't know. Could very well be. As in, I'm going to hit you in the chest and you're going to catch a touchdown. That actually ended up being an accurate throw. The one where Akeem might have lit him up in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could see these are the things that happen, and it's a perfect storm to where a kid takes stuff off his Instagram and Twitter.
Which is also a very modern and dumb-ass thing.
It is.
It is ridiculous. It is another thing that a coach has to deal with. What? What are you telling me? Somebody's no longer on Snapchat? I have to talk to him about Snapchat. Really? I mean, put a gun in my mouth. Are you kidding me? I got to talk to this. So, Kayshawn, why did you remove your Snapchat?
You're pulling me away from my family.
Why are you no longer on TikTok? What can I do to help you get back dancing on TikTok? I mean, what? That would be ridiculous. It's like when I have to yell at my kids about it. I'm like, really? What are you upset about? The Wi-Fi is not working. I'm trying to put. Oh, okay. We're upset about not being able to post faster. Yeah, give me your phone. So Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
One man is dead following a crash on I-10 early Tuesday morning. A van crossed over the median from westbound to eastbound, striking a semi. The semi traveled into a ditch, causing the trailer to jackknife, and then it overturned on top of the semi cab. The 69-year-old driver of the semi from Texas did not survive, and the 18-year-old driver of the van sustained serious injuries. No other information has been released at this time. Madison police received a call about a shooting while a gunshot victim was en route to the hospital. The shooting had taken place in the Plant subdivision on Moore Street on Tuesday morning. The investigation found there was an argument between an uncle and his nephew over parking in the street in front of a home near where the uncle lived. The uncle, Gregory Williams, the murder victim, was taken to the hospital and died of a gunshot wound. The police have not disclosed the identity of the suspect at the moment. The suspect is still at large. This is an ongoing investigation. This is Rachel N.A. with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update. Brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Overcast skies this afternoon with a chance for scattered storms. Highs around 90, winds out of the northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance for scattered storms again tonight. Lows dip down to about 73, cloudy skies. Scattered thunderstorms likely tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 87, cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 86.
If you're a business owner of any kind, you need advanced fire protection services. We are AFPS, and we provide high-quality life safety services throughout Northwest Florida, and we've been doing it since 1989, with offices now in Tallahassee. Fire sprinklers, fire alarms, fire extinguishers, hood suppression systems, and emergency exit lights. For all of your life safety equipment, we've got you covered 24/7. We are Advanced Fire Protection Services. For a free life safety system evaluation, visit WeSaveLives.com. That's WeSaveLives.com.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
There's a TikTok that's going viral because of a butter softening method. They are putting the Vermont Creamery butter in the waistband of our pants. Give it 5 minutes. You can go and measure out your ingredients, and then your butter is ready to go. You cannot do this in Florida.
No.
Because your pants will be full of butter in 2 minutes. Somebody try it. Post on TikTok.
Unless it says juicy across the back.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Well played on the music to come back to it as well, by the way, for those that got to hear it. But, Daniel, by all means, twitch away. And you guys play video games and have fun. You know I'm messing with you, buddy. Imagine Jimbo having to ask a player about why he took down a TikTok dance video. Dose! He was trending, Dose! Yeah. I do think it's going to be a long year in Baton Rouge.
That's interesting.
Well, I don't
only for culture reasons. By the end of the game, I saw enough that I said, not that they're going to go be the surprise team in the West or whatever, but I saw enough basic stuff that they could do that's going to play week to week. Because the question I have for them is, how many defensive fronts are going to be as talented across the board?
That's the fair thing to say, even in the SEC.
Right.
Yes.
Alabama, of course they are.
Yes.
Outside of that in the West, who else? A&M, maybe?
Well, yes. I think the answer
at
is
all
yes.
Four positions, though, that's the beauty of this front four is, man, it's just across the board.
So I'm looking here. Let me do the Seymour for LSU while we have a moment after their 24-23 loss. Obviously, they beat Southern this weekend. But Mississippi State is kind of a coin tossy feeling sort of game to me for them at home, even though LSU will be favored. New Mexico, they'll beat. At Auburn, they should beat. Tennessee, interesting game.
Yeah.
At Florida, they're going to lose to Florida. They host Ole Miss, but that's late October. We'll see. They're going to lose to Alabama by a lot. I mean, that game could be hideous. If Daniels is starting a quarterback against Alabama, no.
Nick has trouble with scramblers.
Everybody has trouble with scramblers.
But I mean, to the point that Gus Malzahn beat him years that he had no business winning the game.
Yeah, that's a weird rivalry. LSU, Arkansas. That game's at Arkansas in November. And then at the end of the year at A&M, I see some losses in the future for this program.
It's the culture that's the threat.
That's the biggest threat. But how many losses do they have to have before they quit on all those games? Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with.
This is Kyle, Service Manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
You were always more than my mom.
You were my role model, my best friend, and biggest supporter. You filled my days with unconditional love. And you also prepared for the day when you couldn't be here. Because of the woman you were back then, I'm able to be the woman I am now. Your planning made this moment possible.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
This is Andy Cohen. When I was a law enforcement officer, I devoted my life to a career of service and protection. Who's protecting you? Give me a call. 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM. Helping you is what we do best.
Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi. Not licensed to do business in all 50 states.
Hey, Greg Tish here. Here's something you may or may not know about me, but I have never drank a cup of coffee in my life. Well, until now. So why change now? Well, my dear friend at Grassroots Coffee reached out to me after he heard me say that I don't drink coffee and insisted that I give his product a try. And let me tell you, I've been making a huge mistake. The world of coffee is fascinating. I always thought, well, coffee is coffee, but no, it's not at all. Grassroots Coffee has sent me some of their blends to try, and now their Bean Me Up Scotty blend is in our studio. I've got a mug, a hat, and a fascination with learning more about how these guys are making the best coffee in our area. And it's all roasted and bagged right up the road in Thomasville. Order yours now. Just go to grassrootscoffee.com and choose what you want. Join me and let's step up our coffee game together and also support a great local business.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. President Biden pulls an about face.
Facing a fierce backlash over remarks widely viewed as divisive, President Biden is again trying to walk back his diatribe about so-called MAGA Republicans.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
That was last week in Philadelphia. Now the president says there is a difference between those he considers mainstream Republicans and Republicans of the MAGA variety. Rich Thomason reporting.
The Russian Ministry of Defense in the process of purchasing millions of rockets and artillery shells from North Korea for its ongoing fight in Ukraine, and it's according to newly downgraded U.S. intelligence findings. North Korea has sought to tighten relations with Russia as much of Europe and the West has pulled away, blaming the U.S. for the Ukraine crisis and decrying the West hegemonic policy as justifying military action by Russia in Ukraine to protect itself. Also at townhall.com, Republican Senate candidate Dr. Mehmet Oz says, had he been in Congress, he would have voted to certify Joe Biden's election win over Donald Trump. Bob Agnew reports.
Dr. Oz told reporters it's the job of the Senate to certify the Electoral College results and says that's what he would have done were he in office at the time. Those comments could spare Oz from attacks from the left, for whom questioning the 2020 election results makes any candidate unfit for office. However, it may create tensions between Oz and former President Trump, who continues to say the election was stolen. Oz was endorsed by the former president and remains one of the GOP's most important candidates heading into the midterm elections. Bob Agnew reporting.
Stocks sharply higher. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up 394 points. More at townhall.com.
Attention! This is a special alert for all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an overpriced auto warranty or no warranty coverage at all. Due to the increase of new and used car prices, repair costs, and the price of gas, people are keeping their cars longer than ever, which is why CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on covered auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can save thousands for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. You could save thousands on future auto repairs. Our specialists are standing by for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-279-7495. Vehicle Protection Plan pricing is at an all-time low. Plus, drivers who purchase this coverage today will receive rental car options, free roadside assistance, and free towing. Call 800-279-7495 now for your free quick quote. That's 800-279-7495. What do you have to lose? Call 800-279-7495. Again, 800-279-7495.
Hey, Nole fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com. a minute since we've been able to do one of these and have the kind of fun that we're having today. A little montage. We thought the moment had maybe passed with the way the schedule worked out. Obviously, that was a Sunday night game. We had a Monday travel day, and then a lawn maintenance Tuesday, which is Seminole headlines, and then the first JCS of the week is on a Wednesday. So we weren't sure yet. But in retrospect, Tom, it was the right thing. So good job out of you, sir. And I think the fine folks enjoyed the montage.
I just still get anxious every time I hear it because of the complete flip. There's enjoyment, like when you guys are talking about the flea flicker. And that's what we felt for, what do you think, 80% of the game? Just enjoyment of watching it. And then it felt like, maybe if it's only 5% that we didn't enjoy ourselves, it felt like 20% because of how long it took.
Yeah, I don't ever, we're not at a place where I feel terribly comfortable yet. They have not earned that luxury of confidence where I can ignore the play, for example. You know, when you're so confident that a team knows how to win and going to finish the job and is dominating the game that it becomes an afterthought. Because you and I watch every one of these games many times before coming onto the airwaves. So if by chance, let's say we weren't in New Orleans, we were. But if we had not been and we were just watching from the comfort of our home, this was not a game where I would have ever gotten up and missed a play saying, we got this. They haven't earned that yet. I'm hoping this is a year where they do earn it. Like they could very well get up. I don't know. I'm just going to maybe speak it into existence. Let's say they're up 23-0 against Louisville in the third quarter.
Ooh,
man. I might get up and go do something briefly. Go say something to my kid that I wanted to do for later on that night or the next day. Come back in. Did I miss anything? Oh, no, 3rd and 7. Okay. But they haven't earned that yet. Mike Norvell didn't like practice today. Well, guys, I'm going to tell you that had you asked me yesterday how I thought practice was going to go today, I would say it doesn't matter how it goes. Mike Norvell is going to tell you it was terrible. Now, I was not at practice today. I don't want to pretend that I was. But I guarantee you that there was no right way for that practice to go. There was no way that the players were going to do enough in Mike Norvell's eyes. You are trying to set a tone and raise the bar. You are trying to get to a place where the level of professionalism is no longer in question, no longer something that you have to ponder. How they handle success, how they handle failure. You're going to just always, I think, stay on the gas here. And because it's a bye week, there's no chance that practice was going to be good. I'm sorry, none. I will tell you the 2013 team would beat people by 100 and say go into the bye and have a terrible practice. They were going to have a terrible practice. Whether they did or they didn't was not in question. Jimbo was going to tell you that it was not a good practice. He was going to send the message that this isn't good enough, that you can't slack off, that you can't take a play off, a day off, a week off. You can't. The message was always going to be that it wasn't intense enough, it wasn't focused enough, it wasn't locked in enough, it wasn't professional enough. It may not have been, but that also is human nature. They're beat up. They went through and he said it himself, and we saw it, a brutal camp. This was a very physical camp. By today's standards, now it's all relative. Camp 15 years ago was a lot more physical than camps of today. But the kids didn't grow up 15 years ago. They grew up playing football in the modern era.
And there was no ramp up to this camp.
No.
On day one, they were going.
They hit the ground running. That part is true. That is true of any era. They did hit the ground running this time around because of 90% of the personnel already being here in the spring. So they knew. So this was going to be a day where expectations were not lived up to in the eyes of the head coach. And again, it wouldn't have mattered if they had a great day or not. I think this was going to be his message. Just my opinion. And then I think the other part of that was that this practice was not going to be good today because, in my mind, those guys are beat up mentally and physically. And they know there's no game Saturday. You can't – there are certain truisms, things that are a reality around you that affect the way you do things. Not many people are Michael Jordan, who's going to do something balls to the wall, 100 miles per hour every day, all day, because he's insane. He's insane. And he does want to win more than you do. That's okay. Those people exist. They're untenable and impossible to be around. You love them if they're on your team, especially if they're gifted the way he was, but they're impossible people to deal with. Most people, 99.9% of people, are not that person. So it's a natural letdown day when you're sore, you're tired, you won, and you have no game. Now, there's a difference. There's a fine line, right? There's a difference between maybe not being as intense, as focused as perhaps coach would like you to be, and just screwing off and not paying attention. I doubt that was the case. In fact, I know it wasn't the case.
As part of our conversation, we were driving home. It'll be interesting to see what the psychology of this week is, because look, it's not just Mike. Other coaches do this as well, where if you have a fragile team, right, one that requires rebuild for culture purposes, and there's a little bit of something positive happening to them, and maybe they have a bad practice, you're not going to run to the media and kill that team, because you know that they're fragile. Their confidence is fragile. This whole thing it's bubble gum, it's Band-Aids, it's all that kind of stuff, duct tape. And so maybe in that situation, even though it is a rotten practice, you go to the media and say, I thought we had a good day. I thought we had a real good day of practice here. You know what? These guys continue to work because you're protecting them.
We've watched coaches do that.
We watch coaches. Absolutely,
I've watched this coach do that. Every coach do that. I've seen a team have a dog blank practice. We've sat there and looked at each other and went, this is not a good day.
They're not in it today.
The ball's on the ground every other play. Yeah. Nobody seems to have focus or intensity. And then shockingly, you'd hear Mike say, thought we had a good day. Very physical, good day. You know, some things that we got to clean up, but I like the day. Okay. Sending messages. Other times we've seen him have good days, work hard, seeing the intensity and the physicality and the focus, and then have the coach challenge him to ratchet that up yet to another level. There's a time and a place.
That's what coaching's all about. It's knowing when to press the button.
Push, pull, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. When to really get on somebody, browbeat somebody, and when to lift them up.
And then there are plenty of days where it's good, and it's good. And that's the way it's perceived. But it's just, this is important because this is a different lesson. This is how you deal with real success early in the season, not late success because you adjusted and you came through adversity together. You were 0-4 and you got a big win over Miami. It's not that kind of lesson. This is, you're 2-0. There's a different kind of pressure that you've never known, especially if you've been here for more than a couple of years. You don't know anything about this pressure. And if you beat Louisville, there's going to be even more pressure.
No, with every passing win, there's a greater expectation about what the season could be.
Correct. And the questions are different. The media coverage is different. Hell, you're on the radar for a college game day. All of this stuff. And he's seen it happen with Memphis. And now he didn't rebuild that from scratch, but they hosted game day in Memphis when he was there. That had to be very different for that program. So you've got to steel yourself for these things that are to come. And that's what I think this is about.
It's also about responding to his players, several of whom noted in the post game that Florida State was back.
This is also true.
That's what that is. That is, guys, come on. You know, that's an easy speech for him to give. That, guys, we won the game, and I'm proud of you fighting the whole thing. That LSU team lost 6 games last year, 7 if you count the bowl. Do not come in here after one win against that team with a brand new coach and tell the world we're back. We haven't done anything. We haven't done anything. We're 2-0. One of those wins is against a non-college football team. I mean, there are several really good 6, 7A schools in high school that would have beaten Duquesne. So that game doesn't count. And now you scraped by and held on and got a win over a team that is rebuilding and lost 6 games last year.
So here's what's interesting. He defined the amount of points he believes we left on the board today. He said 18. Mm-hmm. That's what he said. So he thinks we should have scored 40. Is that something that you can say in the meeting room, that we left 18 points on the field? Because, I mean, everybody's got a hand in that, including the man delivering the speech, if he says we left 18 points on the field.
I don't think when he says we, he means you.
Yeah.
I think he means we. So Mike's never skirted responsibility. It's
the
only reason you can get away with saying some of the things that he does. I think he knows he screwed up. They screwed up. We screwed up.
But I wonder how that goes in the meeting rooms. I agree.
Oh,
No, they go to war for him.
Yeah.
I'm not questioning that one bit, and I know how that could sound or be portrayed. I'm not doing that. What I'm saying is, as a coach, how do you deliver that message? Because it's a fine line. You guys need to execute. I won't put you in that situation again. Is it that simple? You say those two things back to back and you're good to go? Because when you're talking about 18 points left on the field,
no,
it's not just because Trayshawn dropped a pitch.
Well, this one's easy. This one's easy for him to do because the plays where they lacked execution that led to points being left on the field, you'll just roll the film and show what they did wrong. You just spell it out for them. If you do this, this is open, we score. If you catch the ball, we score.
Right, that's an easy one, yeah.
I mean, Johnny Wilson, you dropped the touchdown pass. I don't have to explain much. Catch the ball. Cam McDonald, my quarterback throws a seed on a big throw in an important situation, and you drop the ball. Guys, these are the little things that are going to get us beat against a better football team. That's an easy message. They see it. They're looking at the film. If it's technique, you point out technique. If it's something as simple as a loss of concentration, you bring it up. Where you screwed up as a coach, you own from the outset. You say it before you point out all these other things. They know then that you're taking responsibility. You're not rolling them. But players know that players play the game. Players play the game. Coaches call plays. It's up to you to execute those plays. Most of the time, if there's a problem, then it's going to lie with the player not executing. Even the pitch, which I wouldn't have called, and we're fair to ask the question about why you would run that play. A lot of players would tell you there's no problem with you calling that play. The problem is that Trayshawn Ward dropped the ball.
Yeah,
and the other problem is the pitch is slightly behind him. And you can lead with a pitch. In fact, you're supposed to lead with a pitch. He doesn't lead with him there, but he also takes his eyes off the ball. So that's execution. That's very easy to point out a problem there. Now, Mike may or may not choose to say, hey, I maybe should have called that. I doubt he'll bring that up in that situation because it's just as easy for him to catch the damn ball. So those film room situations are pretty straightforward. They're cut and dry. They're, Cameron, you're in the wrong position. You're 2 yards to the left of where we have practiced this for months. And that's how it's going to get brought up. And you're going to feel like a bit of an ass, and you're going to wear that. And then
there was a lot of that in this game, too.
Yeah.
Where it's just basic stuff. Jordan was not pleased with the placement of receivers in several situations. Protections got screwed up a couple times. I mean, I understand it's football, and you're never going to play a perfect game. But there's a lot of basic things that they can coach off of both sides of the football. Guys freelancing.
That's why that game's so perfect, man. You win the game, and you got all kinds of mistakes. That's why I brought up the pros and cons last hour, that you got an opportunity here. You got a ton of pros that I think are sustainable and you get excited about it. And then there's a lot of things that you're just like, we just got to clean this up, guys. You catch the ball when I throw it to you. Where are you lined up here? What the hell are you doing? We don't even teach this. Those kinds of things are fun. That's why that guy on Twitter is hilarious, who does the coach's film room. And everybody who's played has been in that film room, has heard that conversation, and they will back it up, forward it. And you'll just have to sit there and wear that beating. It's the worst, especially when you're wrong and you're wrong. You're like, that's okay. He's going to show it again. And usually they're just staring at you and you don't have an answer.
What do we call that technique again?
Yeah.
And when did we learn that?
Mm-hmm.
April?
In what world
Yeah.
does that make sense to you, Jeff?
That he calls on the GA. Was it practice 4 in spring though, right?
Yeah. It sucks. So there are a lot of those things, man. That's why a game like this is absolutely perfect, I think. And now you get that extra time to clean up. But I guess back to a lot of people's concerns that were brought up on the boards or on the chat here or on Twitter, and the questions we get in email. It's been a lot about, hey, I didn't like that Mike today said they had a terrible practice. Grain of salt, man. And that's true of every practice, by the way. If he says they had the best practice they've ever had, grain of salt, man.
Yeah, I think it's minus 500 that if he's available tomorrow to speak, he'll say, much better day. Much better day. I like the response.
And I also think that guys will feel better practicing tomorrow. I mean, it should, they had yesterday off.
Yeah, they did a light practice that he said they got in, they got out.
Yeah,
and he was happy.
Yeah, and that was their reward, by the way. That is I'm giving you the day because you guys are beat to hell and we won the game. I'm not expecting much out of you. You're one day removed from that. Now it is time to buck up. Now you got to get focused again, and you got a very important game coming up. And I tell you what, oddly enough, the importance of that game, which is going to be whatever it is for Florida State, it's game 3. You want to win them all so that you're going to be focused. But the conversation, the narrative around that game shifts with whatever happens with Louisville against UCF. In a weird way, I hope they win that game. I hope Louisville wins that game. I would, for whatever reason, it would really bother me if they lose a heartbreaker. It's 24-21. They fight their ass off and they come up short, but there's fight in there.
Yeah.
Then your season is on the line on a Friday night. You're 0-2. It's your home opener, and you're desperate, and you showed fight in the previous game. That's not ideal. You can overcome it, but it's not ideal. Or they win the game going away. That'd be better. The only other scenario that I think, okay, I won't be nervous about, if they get blown out, they've quit on Satterfield, fine, whatever. Go finish them.
Well, unless Louisville pulls a really quick trigger. And they say, look at this. You got blown out by Syracuse and UCF. You got blown out by Dino and Gus. You're done.
Yeah.
Who's the coach they love the most as an interim? All right, he's our guy. That's the scenario that is a doomsday for me. If they lose a heartbreaker, I feel like then they're broken.
No, I think because the home opener, they'll fight.
That crowd's going to be holding up signs saying fire Scott.
Yeah, but the players might see it as this is it. We're, it's a conference game. We've got to win it. We're at home. This is it. We'll see. I'd like to see them. Oh, hell. I mean, if they want to be listless and get beat 50-0, fine. It shows signs of just not caring. That's okay, too. If you're hearing this right now and you or someone you know is active military, a veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a teacher, turn up the volume. Listen to this. My friend Shannon with Legendary Home Loans, who's a happy man right now. A fellow Nole celebrating a 2-0 start to the season. He's also got a Hometown Hero loan program designed to make a difference to those who make a difference within our communities. When it's time to buy a new home, he will waive all lender fees for all Hometown Heroes. That's $1,600 worth of value right there out the gates. If you decide to use their preferred title company, you're going to save another. What is that? That's right. Look at that. Up to $2,200. That's a ton of discounts. I'm looking at it here. So now's the time. Make it happen. Save a bunch of money wherever you can. If you know somebody or you are active military, veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, school teacher, looking to buy a new home, choose Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Ask about their Hometown Heroes program. Call 844-FSU-LOAN. That's 844-FSU-LOAN. Or visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com. If you're hearing this right now and you or someone you know is active military, a veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a teacher, turn up the volume and listen to this. My friend Shannon with Legendary Home Loans has a Hometown Hero loan program designed to make a difference to those who make a difference. When it's time to buy a new home, he will waive all lender fees for all Hometown Heroes. That's a $1,600 value right out of the gate. Also, if you decide to use their preferred title company for their closing, you'll be saving another $600. That's $2,200 in discounts right off the top. That's like 20 tanks of gas in your car. And today, more than ever, it's important to save as much money as you can, wherever you can. So if you or someone you know is active military, veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a school teacher, and looking to buy a new home, choose Shannon Young, Legendary Home Loans, and ask about their Hometown Heroes program. Call 844-FSU-LOAN or just visit FSUHomeLoans.com. That's FSUHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 2270146.
For many in the workforce, their goal is to climb the company ladder. Often the climb requires a move to another city, and that's especially true in our industry. I'm Jay of Paul's Termite and Pest Control. If you rise the ranks of our competitors, there's a good chance moving up means moving away. Why? Because they're not local companies. They're from places like Orlando, Atlanta, Salt Lake City, and even Europe. That's certainly not the case with our employees. We're a company that was founded in the Big Bend and remains locally owned. When Paul's Termite and Pest Control employees advance, they remain in the Tallahassee area. Don't trust the safety of your family and pets from disease-carrying pests or the structure of your biggest investment from termites to people who may be here today and gone tomorrow. Trust Paul's Termite and Pest Control, a company that has serviced thousands of our neighbors right here for over 50 years. Being local really does matter in our industry because local problems require local solutions. Paul's Termite and Pest Control are the Big Bend's local experts for the elimination of termites or any other pest. and a greener lawn too. Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Football at El Jalisco, football at El Jalisco, what a combination. It's a great big celebration. It's football at El Jalisco. I can dig it. Who's playing? Oh, man, everybody. The ACC, the SEC, all the C's, and even the pros. The Bucks, the Steelers, the Giants, the Cowboys. Wow, far out. You bet, man. When the game is on, it's on at El Jalisco with incredible specials on everything from frosty cervezas to salty margaritas. Does Margarita know? Dios mío, not again. The best place to watch the game is El Jalisco. College, pros, Monday night, Thursday night, you name it, El Jalisco is football headquarters. And with 5 Tallahassee area locations, there's probably an El Jalisco right around the corner right now.
The kids are back in school, and that means more homework, more projects, more research, and more screen time for the kids. These days, you can't get much done without using a phone, tablet, or computer, so you'll need all your devices working properly. Macklemore Systems is here to help. Not only can you get repairs, upgrades, and replacements, but you can also get expert advice, guidance, and consultations on how to maximize the use of your Apple gear. The Trapper Keepers are gone, and in this digital world, Macklemore Systems are your digital experts. Online at macklemoresystems.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
What it's about. That first month is free too with the purchase of a heart rate monitor. It's a good thing. Actually, have to pronounce the letters of the word there, Jeff. It's monitor.
Monitor,
as we like to say. So go find out. Go see what it's about. It's these group classes are great because everybody kind of pulls each other through. I'm not going to tell you it's easy. It's not. It's pretty hard. But you feel great right afterwards. I know that. There's 2 locations in town. And again, that first class is free, and you'll see the coaching, all science-backed. All of it's pretty straightforward. Go to the one in Midtown, and if not, the one on the north side. So 2 Orange Theories, orangetheoryfitness.com to learn more.
That Wake Forest game got more interesting yesterday.
I'm happy for Hartman. Really happy for him. You find out it's a blood clot. That can be very dangerous.
Yes, it can.
So I'm excited to learn that he's okay. And I said before the season when we were going through the W's and L's, I had us beating Wake Forest regardless of who was playing quarterback. So that doesn't change anything for me. It's a lot harder game, and he'll potentially obviously provide more points for Wake Forest than a backup would. But I still think Florida State can win the game and should win the game. I think Florida State's going to run the ball, and I think they're going to be able to keep Wake Forest off the field a little bit better this year than last. And I think the difference, first of all, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. But if we're just going to dip into the waters for a second, Jordan Travis is a different player. Now, I see in the chat somebody said if Jordan Travis goes down, we're screwed. Sure. Well, pretty much most teams, if their starting quarterback goes down, they're screwed. That's true. And it may be especially true of FSU. But either way.
What's interesting about the flow of that game was the ball control. That, there was some tempo. There were times at which they get a first down, they get right up to the line of scrimmage, and they run another play. But they choked the life out of the ball for much of the game. That was part of it. 3rd down conversions will help in that regard.
3rd down conversions, I was just about to go there, helped a lot. What an insane conversion percentage on 3rd down. You're not going to be 9 of 13 or whatever it was for the game too many times. but they're going to be better at it because last year, the statistic that revealed what we weren't as a quarterback and as a drop-back passing team was success rate on passing downs. And they defined passing downs 3rd and 5 or longer. His was one of the worst in the conference, not one of the worst in Power 5. Now, part of that's we didn't have receivers, but part of that was he wasn't very good at ever identifying guys in the middle of the field. We didn't really have much of a passing game to speak of in the classic sense. So his development changes that a lot.
It does. And also, we got into 3rd and short a fair amount, too. We weren't always in 3rd and 10. He got us out of a couple of 3rd and longs and a couple of early down and distance behind the chains due to negative plays or penalties. We wiped out a 1st and 20 because of a Gibbons hold, I believe, as a Trayshawn Ward run, and that's a quarterback run to the left. And good to see, too, that guys continue to block on the perimeter. It's not all of the same people that you would expect. Like a Johnny Wilson, he gets a lot of run for being able to block. But on that 22-yard run that Jordan got on 1st down, Malik McClain is the one that's blocking 35, 40 yards down the field. Kentron is on the field for that play.
Yep.
And so is Deuce. Interesting, but there seems to be a segment-wide commitment to making it work for everybody else, and that has not been the case for a long time here, specifically at receiver. That's usually the position at Florida State the last 5 years where dudes leave, where dudes get dismissed or benched.
Or are indifferent about their roles, and it was really frustrating to watch guys getting blown up because other guys wouldn't block for them. That's not the case now. You got a very unselfish group. You got a group that's also more talented than they were before. So I think that, listen, this is the start of the show where I referenced the fact that I woke up today excited to see this team play again, like feeling disappointed that they weren't playing this Saturday. Speaks to all the things that we're highlighting here that went well, are things to get excited about in all of the games, because these are attributes that I don't think go away. This is why, hence, we use the word sustainable. I think much of the offensive success was sustainable. If we're questioning areas of the defense, I think that's fair. Although I'm not saying that they were awful. They were not awful. The last drive is suspect. I think there's a little PTSD left over from that Jacksonville State game and how to close out games and what to run when closing out games. But you get to talk about it after a win. And now you can fix some of it after a win. And you only gain confidence with each one of those victories that you get. And I do believe that Florida State is going to be a team brimming with confidence in most of their games. I can't think of a game now that they won't believe that they can win. And it doesn't have to be about beating a great team. It could just be beating a team that has a name, win in prime time, as they did. We haven't had many moments. We got some come up just short moments, but moral victories aren't getting it done in terms of providing the confidence I'm referencing.
Well, that's the power of that type of game. It's not just about, spotlighted shines on your program. If you've got Drew Brees, LeBron James, and others tweeting about you as the game's over, that's not going to happen on Friday at Louisville. But that atmosphere is just so different. It's a bowl atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an early bowl game. And that's the cool thing about what college football has done in the last decade plus, which is, mirror what college basketball does. Schedule really good games early in the season. As the playoff gets larger, you can do that. As a playoff exists in the first place, you could do that more. But that is such a strange atmosphere. Somebody's cheering on every play. Somebody's quiet on every play. So in order, to manage your emotions to win in a situation like that, it's almost something you would only do in December or January. And now you've got that knowledge that you can handle that environment. Now it doesn't seem so scary to go on the road and play at Louisville.
Yeah, that was really cool, by the way. That was the press box at the Superdome was open air. And so you could get a sense of that environment and how loud it was on every play and why. And I said it yesterday, and I've said it a lot since the game, but I was really, really pleased with Florida State as far as the fan base and the band. The band was magnificent to the point where people complained nationally that they were tired of hearing our band. Well, go to hell. You're going to hear more of that. Get you something. I hope we play louder.
I used to complain about that with the Marching Chiefs when we were getting killed every game. But if we're going to be leading, you're going to hear a whole lot of us, and that's fine with me.
Yeah, so that was fantastic. Loved it. I hope to hear a lot more of it. And their timing was impeccable, especially on the block. How quickly
they were ready.
I mean, they were on the ready. That's some quick draw McGraw action right there. Let's go. As soon as it happened.
Mike wasn't the only one who had him ready. Dr. Plack was like, all right.
Yeah.
We've already blocked one, guys.
Here we go.
Oh, be ready.
Yeah, I mean, if you're, golly, that it's important to at least let it wash over you, recognize and revel in as a fan, because we've had some really bad moments these last handful of years. Go ahead and allow the Schadenfreude to overtake you. Enjoy their pain temporarily. Think about how much that would suck to be that kind of excited, that kind of absolutely exhilarated, over the top. Can you believe we're going to steal this win? Oh my God, he blocked the kick. Like that, just the running kick to the cojones.
I would not have handled it well, because the moment he put up one finger, I'd be angry that we're running out there.
That we're not going for
extra
two
point
for
unit
starters.
where we've already had one block today. And all I hear about is special teams sucks all preseason long, because that's been the report out of camp, is that special teams is awful. Every reporter said, not so sure about our special teams here. And you will have seen one blocked already in the game. That was a chip shot. That wasn't from 50 yards out. He had to lower the trajectory. That was a complete missed assignment. And we're going to steal this game right now if you put up two fingers. You go to one, I'd be so mad. I'd be first guessing that.
I was stunned. I mean, I brought it up earlier. Corey had the binoculars out, and he's like, he held up one. They're going for one. I went, what? What? I mean, you have to go for two there. But he didn't. He didn't. He went for one.
Right.
And it was blocked.
If you're wearing a purple shirt and you said, he's going for one, and then it's blocked?
But even still,
that would be a tantrum of tantrums.
Tom, I was in attendance for all the wide rights. Okay, now those are field goals. Those aren't extra points.
Right.
And I know the heartbreak of a chip shot kick not going through the uprights, one that you have a realistic expectation to make. I've never covered a Florida State game where we lost on a blocked extra point. I've never been to one where we lost on a blocked extra point. Never. Ever. Yeah. Knock on wood. Ever.
Now you've seen two in which we've won.
I've been to two in which we've won. That makes zero sense. I mean, even with a terrible special teams unit, every LSU fan in that stadium thought they'd make the extra point. We thought they'd make the extra. It's an extra point.
I wasn't sure. I thought something weird was going to happen.
Well, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you were right. Because
that game, it was a wild contagious. Game, and I didn't know if it was going to be we jumped, so they move it, and then they go for two. Or it wasn't going to end there the way, the way that overtime was going to start. It wasn't going to be right then, right there. It didn't feel right.
So I heard a lot of people say, well, if it went to overtime, we are done. You don't know that. They put the ball at the 25. I'm not entirely certain that LSU is going to score.
We probably score.
I think we score, but we don't know. Sure. We don't know. Yeah. It would have been up for grabs. We would have all been very nervous. I know that, but that's about all I know.
Our morale on offense would have been tested there too.
Everything would have been tested there. Yeah. Your toughness, your psyche, all of it would have been tested, but we don't know because again, you'd probably play that a little differently now that we're actually in overtime. LSU struggled for much of the night.
Percentage chance, though, if they go for two, that they get it.
I think we lose the game. I think they're going to get it. We're reeling
8 out of 10.
That's why I'm saying in that moment, you're not the better team. You haven't been the better team all night, and yet you're in a position to steal the game, and you're going against a defense that just gave up a 99-yard drive. They are gassed. They are shot. They are done. They are questioning themselves. They can't believe they're in this position. They're half in shock that they just fumbled on the 1-yard line. Sorry, I almost said something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You roll Daniels out, and they won't be there to get him.
They're gonna no. So I think we would have been screwed, and I can't believe he didn't process it in the moment because we all did. We all did. I think every Florida State fan was like, "If he goes for two, we're going to lose this game." I bet you almost to a man, Florida State fans believe that.
At the 20, before they get to our 20, I'm like, man, he's going for two. Oh my God, we need to stop him here. If they don't score a touchdown, we win. But if they score a touchdown, he's going for two, and we lose.
Yeah. And he had a lot of time to think about that while they were reviewing for 15 minutes.
Oh, it is painful.
The league, I mean, they were Big 12 officials.
That was Big 12. Yeah. Because they knew the drill. They knew the game should have been over.
They know they screwed up.
Is there any precedent? They're going through case law. They're like,
no, seriously, that does happen.
Yeah.
Meaning not case law, but
Murphy versus Houston. Yeah. We got anything in here?
They do go. They are in a situation where they butchered the result of the play, And so as soon as that happens, and then we challenge, which we're looking at that going, no, man, my man is down. The problem is you've stopped the game now for a review, and you're going to give them that untimed play. That's what I mean. I was worried that was going to be because here's what they've done. They've made it so that the offense can be out there with his hand on the ball when you blow the whistle, and he can snap it. So they might as well. They're at that point. They're just like, okay, it's an untimed down, which is ridiculous.
That's why the wording of that troubled me.
The wording.
LSU has time for one more play. What? No. The clock will start on the ready for play. The clock will start on the ready for play. That's your way out of it.
It still wouldn't work because
they'd get the snap off. Of course they would.
Get the snap off. They had an hour to figure out what play they were going to run.
We talked about that in the end game. I said, I hope the center sneezes or something if they start the ready for play. We did call a timeout afterwards.
We called a timeout once we realized we were being screwed. Well, now that I know I'm being screwed is what Mike should have said. Then let's have a little time to regroup. Great. So you're telling me there's no way I can avoid getting screwed right now. Okay? So the screwing's coming.
And we get it. If it was 3rd and 2, they got 3, and it wasn't a scrum on the bottom of a pile. It was a quick throw or whatever, he gets tackled. And it's the same hash mark. We're both reasonable enough to say they might have gotten up there and snapped the ball.
Yeah, but
they're on the wrong hash.
They would have never gotten up there.
Yeah, correct.
They would never have gotten up there. It was 1 second. They would not have gotten up there. And everybody knew it. LSU knew it. Their fans knew it. I could hear their fans below us looking at that replay. I heard the one guy say to his wife, "We're effed." Yeah. I mean, they were relieved that the officials butchered the whole damn thing. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The Tallahassee Police Department is investigating 2 shootings and 1 stabbing that happened within a span of 2 days. Officers responded to a stabbing on Owens and Osceola Street. 2 men were engaged in an argument which led to the suspect to stab the victim. The victim was transported to a local hospital to get treated for his serious injuries, and then just a few hours later, police responded to a shooting on 2901 Mahan Drive. 1 person was shot in a Zaxby's parking lot and was transported to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. It is unclear if the victim was the target of the shooting. 1 person of interest has been identified. And then officers responded to another shooting at 3025 South Adam at the University Courtyard Apartments. According to TPD, 1 victim suffered a gunshot wound and was transported to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. It was determined the shooting happened outside in the parking lot. It is unclear if the victim was the target of the shooting. No arrests have been made in all 3 cases. They are all still open investigations. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Overcast skies this afternoon with a chance for scattered storms. Highs around 90, winds out of the northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance for scattered storms again tonight. Lows dip down to about 73, cloudy skies. Scattered thunderstorms likely tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 87, cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 87.
Imagine for a moment that you are completely weightless with zero gravity. All of your worries and stress melt away. Your mind stops racing and you fall into a profound state of pure relaxation. This is available to you right now at Tallulah Delta 8 Plus Floating in Railroad Square for just $50. These state-of-the-art floating pods are unlike anything else you've ever experienced. And while you're there, you can shop for some of the latest and greatest CBD and Delta 8 products on the market. Natural pain management, stress relief, and better sleep are all at your fingertips at Tallulah. Tell them Jeff Cameron sent you and thank me later.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. Pastor Tabner was alone with a female church employee. She in a towel and he in his boxers. The charismatic 41-year-old Hurley explained the 2 of them had been making chili and gotten food on their plates. With the hot dogs that they were making, we are hoping that the pastor used the right condiments.
I think there was at least 1 hot dog involved.
I don't know what you're talking about. We were just making chili dogs.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Show flew past today. By the way, should note that you can put aside, if you're a business owner, that fear or reservation about roof renovation, worried that it's too expensive under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. You can deduct up to $1 million on your income taxes as an expense without the cost of your property to be depreciated. This reform includes improvements that are made to your commercial roofing. That's where my man T-Spark comes into play. Call T-Spark Enterprises Roofing and Construction at 766-1340. Get a free quote today at tsparkconstruction.com. Redemption Thursday will be a busy one tomorrow. We have a lot.
I know it's already tomorrow.
Including an NFL game, and it's a good NFL game. Man alive, I'm loving that. Bills, Rams. You got a feeling out of it on a Wednesday? I like the Bills.
Probably the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
They should have an angry bunch again this year.
Well, that heartbreak is one of the silliest things you've ever seen in your life.
Much so they've changed the rule again. But yeah, they should be the pissed off crew this year. Plus, they know that division, you can't take a break. Miami could potentially sneak and win 11 games.
You think Miami really?
Yeah, I think so. I looked at so their over under in Vegas is 8.5. And if you just go by the paper, go down the line of the schedule, what they should win and lose on paper, it's 9-8. So if they overachieve, then 11 wins. Maybe you beat the Bills once, and you might find yourself in a decent situation.
I had the fantasy draft last night.
Me too.
How'd you do?
Okay. Yeah, I started 12th this year, and there really isn't that much top line talent. So I feel like 12. Some years 12 is great because like 2 top 15 players is a good start. Top 15 this year is a little thinner, a lot more guessing, I think.
I had the 6th pick, and I got Dalvin Cook.
That's impressive.
Feeling good about it.
I did get Jamar Chase at 12, which I found
works
interesting.
Yeah, there you go. I felt really good when I got Dalvin early. I was like, all right, we're off to a good start. Let's keep it rolling. So really quickly, if you guys don't know about our friends there at Tallulah, you see it's up on the screen. This is where you want to go, dude. This is the place. I haven't done the floating. I want to do the floating.
It's on the docket.
Have you ever done the floating?
No. But it sounds tremendous. I think I can handle it. Some people, they say their mind can't handle it, but that sounds tremendous to me.
Yeah, it does sound tremendous to me. And we've got that commercial running right now. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're completely weightless. It's zero gravity. Kind of not a lot of stimulus at all.
Yeah,
whatsoever.
They get the water temperature to match the temperature of your outer skin, so therefore it doesn't feel like you're in anything. It's spooky.
Melts away your stress.
Yeah.
The question is whether it's almost like meditation. Can you get your mind to stop racing? Can you control your mind? Can you tell your mind, we're not doing that, man. We're not freaking out.
Yep.
This is not going to be the denial of death that we're dealing with all the time, which distraction. We're not doing all that.
The only time I can't get my mind to shut down is if I'm overly overtired. I mean, super exhausted, like finals week back in college. That was a tired where I couldn't shut my brain off. And that is a very anxious feeling.
And, by the way, if you're having trouble shutting your brain down, you get a little bit of that Delta 8 action, some THC and all the goodness at Tallulah. You're just saying, it'll help you float on that pod a little easier, buddy. Tell them Jeff Cameron sent you, and let's all celebrate together. Let's do some probables, shall we?
If I was, Louisville's defensive coordinator, I might need that after what I saw.
I'm assuming you're kicking our ass today like we kicked yours last night.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
That's correct.
Yeah.
It's about damn time. But we'll see. It's a split doubleheader today.
Yeah. You're up 5-1 in the 8th.
Put Scherzer on the IL.
Oh, really?
It's supposed to be the minimum of 15 days. We'll see.
We started Dwayne Underwood Jr. today for some reason, so this was not going to go well. Chris Bassett started for you, so it was going to go well, and the Mets lead the Pirates 5-1.
How do you know that, though? Mitch Keller hadn't exited a start without a run to his ledger until last night.
Weird thing is, Mitch has been a strange pitcher this year for us at times, exhibiting the form that saw him get drafted number 1 and all that, and then other times you're like, man, Mitch, you're just not mentally tough enough. But he was last night. He was very good. Twins, Yankees, Louis Verlard and Domingo Herman. I'm sure Verlard says his name differently. Varland is probably how he says it. Makes more sense. Second game of a doubleheader, that would be Joe Ryan and Garrett Cole. We got Brewers, Rockies, Eric Lauer, Kyle Freeland. Braves Athletics, Spencer Strider, Ken Waldachuk.
Should have played hockey.
Should have. Great hit by Waldachuk. Tigers, Angels, Drew Hutchison and Patrick Sandoval. Giants, Dodgers, Alex Cobb, Clayton Kershaw. White Sox, Mariners, Michael Kopech and Luis Castilla. Second game of the doubleheader there, Mets Pirates, is Jacob deGrom and TBD. Should just say bend over. Red Sox, Rays, Nick. Like, we have the worst offense in the National League going against Jacob deGrom.
I'm also glad you guys. This has got to be getaway day today, right? It's a Wednesday. We're starting the third game of the series. I don't think we're playing 4. Way to go, Pirates, with a split admission doubleheader. Play them back to back and let's get out of Dodge. You need your extra $50.
Red Sox, Rays, Nick Pivetta, Jeffrey Springs. We got the Marlins and the Phillies, Trevor Rogers and Bailey Falter. Blue Jays, Orioles. Alec Manoah, my man, love that guy. Tyler Wells goes for the Orioles. Reds, Cubs, Mike Minor. Javier Assad goes for the Cubs. Nationals, Cardinals, Corey Abbott, Jordan Montgomery. We got Guardians and Royals, Cody Morris, Zach Greinke. Full-ass slate today, everybody. Rangers, Stros, Cole Reagans from right here in Tallahassee. Christian Javier.
I would love to play golf with Cole Reagans. We got to clarify that.
Cole is 0-2 with a 4.42. Come on, Cole. D-backs, Padres, Tommy Henry, Yu Darvish. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. Yeah, no, there's not going to be a wager on Pirates Mets unless I'm getting a boatload of runs, guys. I mean, good Lord.
Well, if there was, then you would have already won. Wager.
Yeah. You saw, by the way,
8-2.
that was a beating. You saw the bomb opposite field for Onel Cruz. You see how quick that got out?
He is going to be one hell of a Yankee someday.
He hits the ball extremely hard. He also frequently misses said ball, but when he hits it, there are lasers. There are lasers to all fields. There's nobody safe on that outfield. Like any of you could wear
You're
this.
in play.
Yeah, you're in play. Back deck over there, you're in play.
It's not an excuse me like, oh, I caught it. It's man, I got to bear down.
Oh, I'm moving out of the way of one of his. I mean, he's the one who hit it 124.8 miles per hour. He hits it hard. Those aren't like really high fly balls that get out. They are ropes. And that's the thing. He hit a rope into the Allegheny. Like, what? That's crazy. That's like on a line. How do you do that? Really strong. If he starts making contact with any great regularity, yes, it's going to be
You're going to love playing with him in the show next year. They've got to put his power rating through the roof.
They will. I did it already on ours. Yeah. I adjusted it. I'm like, this is wrong. They got him as a slappy. I'm like, get the hell up out of here. I have his swing and miss rating really high because he misses a lot, but I have his contact rating through the roof in terms of power.
Excuse me, developers. What is the antonym for slappy?
Yeah.
O'Neal Cruz.
Yeah. Hits it very, very hard. Tomorrow, Redemption Thursday, the wagers will abound. I had a mix results of the first Redemption Thursday. It's always the way it is early. Always the way it is early. Good work out of you. Thanks for watching and listening, everybody. Be well. Have a great day. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.